Welcome to the Hopecast. This is a podcast about organ, eye, and tissue donation and all the lives that are forever changed by it. Today, we'll be talking to Sierra, a heart and kidney transplant recipient. I'm Danielle, and this is the Hopecast, where every story inspires us to embrace hope and healing. Hey, Sierra, how are you doing today?
Hi, Danielle. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good.
That's fantastic.
So let's start at the beginning. How was your life before needing a transplant?
So before I needed a transplant, I was your average 20-something. I was in college and I found out I had heart failure in college, and I was diagnosed at 22, and I couldn't walk. I couldn't do things. I couldn't breathe. And it turns out it was heart failure. So I had several years before I was at a point where I needed a heart transplant. So from 22 until about 27, I was pretty stable. I went to my doctors. I took my meds. Everything was fine. It was a little slow. I had a pacemaker. Then I went about my life. I worked, I dated, I hung out with my family and friends. Looking at me, you couldn't tell I was in heart failure. That was until 2013 when my health began to decline. And after a series of hospital visits and stays, they told me that I would need a heart transplant.
How was it finding out you needed to be on the transplant waiting list?
It was something that, for me, it made sense. I couldn't walk more than maybe 10 to 15 feet without needing a break or slowing down. I couldn't go upstairs. I couldn't keep up with other people my age. So I knew something was wrong. Mentally, sort of prepared, but nothing really prepares you for the day when they say, you will need a heart transplant. So I went in the hospital on October 31st of 2013, and I left for good like January 7th or 8th in 2014. So I spent the entire fall and the beginning of winter in the hospital. So eventually I was implanted with the LVAD, which is a left ventricular assist device. Essentially, what happens in heart failure is your heart becomes enlarged and it becomes weak. And when your heart, an average heart, compresses, it's supposed to pump half your blood through your body. My heart was at 10 to 15%.
Wow.
So in order to supplement that, I had the help of science and technology. It is a device. It kind of attaches to the top and the bottom of your heart, and it continuously pumps your blood through. So I have this mechanical assist device, and I was living on batteries.
And you didn't have a pulse?
I did not have a pulse. And when I met my current primary care physician, it was during this time. And I said to him, I don't have a pulse. And he looked at me and said, what do you mean you don't have a pulse? And I said, if you can find it, then I have questions for people. And sure enough, he did his, routine exam, could not find a pulse. He still thinks it's the funniest thing. He would bring in med students and say, hey, she doesn't have a pulse. And I'm sitting blinking and talking to them, and they're like, huh? And
Gotcha.
They would listen, and you could hear the hum of the machine, but no pulse, because your heart is constantly going. So
How did you feel when you got the call for your heart transplant?
So at the end of my second to last week of cardiac rehab, I'm leaving for the day. I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm sure I can't get a third round of cardiac rehab. And I was just kind of feeling down. And I left and I went home to get ready for a date with my partner. And I got the call that night. And so I was ready to go. I was like, oh, I called him and I said, we have to change plans. I have a heart waiting for me. And it was a question mark. And so the thing they tell you is the organ can come at any time, have a go bag packed. I had my go bag packed and I kind of was just spinning in my room, kind of making sure I grabbed everything. I had my LVAD to pack, I had my batteries to pack, all of my machinery, and I packed everything, put it in a little rolling suitcase, and I get to the hospital and I'm checking in, and it's me and my partner at the time and my father. And we're walking and I'm carrying my bag and I got my suitcase. I'm rolling. It's a zebra print suitcase with hot pink stripes, if you can imagine. And I'm rolling it down the hallway and they go, oh, we're checking in for Sierra's heart transplant. And they go, well, who's the patient? And I said, I'm Sierra. And they said, you look amazing. You're here for a heart transplant? I said, yeah, well, I do, but I'm also here for a heart transplant. I can show you my LVAD if you'd like.
Cardiac rehab
Yes.
did the body good, huh?
Cardiac rehab did the body good. So they were shocked that I had come in not only walking, because a lot of people who are at the point where they need a heart transplant, they are either living in the hospital or they're very sick. I was walking, I was halfway running down the hallway. I was carrying bags and fighting with the men with me about, let me take that. I'm like, no, I got it. And just so excited and full of life, which is my baseline. I'm always pretty bubbly. I was prepared mentally because I'd had so much time to process and, this is what's happening. It's going to be great. And we're going to go through this process and we're going to worry about what to worry about after it's over. So you can't stress about things twice. So
period.
If you just go into a situation thinking this is going to be amazing, this is going to be fantastic, 10 out of 10, you only got to stress about it once if things go wrong.
Yep. Exactly.
So it's that positive outlook.
How did your life change after you got your heart transplant?
So immediately I lost the LVAD. It was great. You don't really know how trapped you can feel when you have a medical device that you rely on for your daily existence. I had to make sure I had batteries. I had to make sure if it was raining, my machine didn't get wet. I had to make sure if I was showering, I had to do it a certain way so that it didn't get the device wet. So make sure if the power went out, I had backup. So immediately I did not have to worry about batteries anymore. If I wanted to get up and go somewhere and go on a trip, I didn't have to pack a literal suitcase
just for the LVAD?
For the batteries and the charging base and the other materials that you need to take with you, just in case. So immediately that's 30, 40 pounds of weight dropped off my body. Outside of that, it took a couple of weeks for my chest to heal and my sternum to heal. And the first thing I did as soon as I could, and I had clearance to do so, was I went to Disney World. And I had a friend that was living there in Florida at the time. And I said, I'm coming. The doctor said I can go in 6 months, and 6 months to the day, I'm on a flight to go to Disney. And we had such a fun time. It was in December. We dressed up for a Christmas party. We got so dolled up and we had the time of our lives. I walked probably 20,000 steps in a day. And considering I couldn't make it across this room before I got my LVAD and before I had my transplant, it was amazing.
That sounds exciting.
Literally amazing, life-changing.
What a first trip out of the hospital and off of a transplant.
Yes.
What led to you needing a kidney transplant?
So one of the things that you find out if you are a chronically ill person, as I am, is that medicines take a toll on your body. So I had been diagnosed with heart failure in 2008. I have been on medicines for heart failure since 2008, consistently. Various medicines, they all have side effects. Eventually, those side effects add up. My heart transplant was going well. I had it in 2015. And about 2020, my doctor started noticing that my labs weren't looking as great as they would like. And they said, we want to do a couple of repeat labs and we're looking at your kidney function and we're concerned. So when we did the repeat labs, they were not any better. So they said at this time, we think that you might need a kidney transplant, to which I just responded, if you think I need a kidney transplant, put me on the list. And the thing that I learned from my first transplant is it's better to act fast rather than to react later. So in March of 2021, I became active on the list. I met all the qualifications and I had my appointments that were required. So that was it. It was put me on the list. It wasn't even a second thought.
So, since your kidney transplant, what have you been up to professionally?
So, in November 2025, I applied for a job here at Infinite Legacy and I got it. So, I can tell you for sure, since I found out that Infinite Legacy existed in 2016, I was like, I'd love to work there. I would love to work there. It just so happened that after my transplant in 2025, last year, I was in a place where I had just been let go from my job I was at previously. And I was at home and I was like, I'm just going to do dialysis and take care of my mom and kind of figure out next steps. And I was going to give myself 3 to 4 months to kind of figure out what are the next steps. Trying to figure out, like, do I want to go back to work or find something else? And I really did not want to work for a company that was about the dollars and cents. And it's very difficult to find nowadays. And I just so happened to be browsing the job boards again, and I saw there was an admin position available. And I said, this sounds like me. I can do these things. I wonder. So I applied, and I did not even put anybody down on the list as a reference because I didn't want to get my hopes up. I didn't want to tell people, oh, I applied to work here and I'm so excited, and then not get the job, because that's kind of, disappointing. So I applied, I came in to meet with my current manager and we hit it off and clicked and it was amazing. And then I think it was less than a week later, I was holding a job application and they said, well, if you give us an answer tomorrow, then you can start next month. And I was like, yes. So I'd come in for my interview and they asked, how did you find us? And I was like, I kind of sort of been like stalking for jobs for several years now. And it just so happened I hit it at the right time. It is, organ, eye, and tissue donation is close and near and dear to my heart. The mission of this company and the way that it's run, and now being here and working with people, it is genuine. And it's genuinely, I felt so warm and welcome from people who know my story and people who don't. Just generally, even seeing people in the hallway, hey, how are you? Have a great day. And people that I talk to and I share with them, they're amazed. And, we bond and collaborate over that. And it's really great to work at a place where you know that you matter.
I think that's so sweet. So you're a Donate Life ambassador. What has it meant to you to give back as a Donate Life ambassador?
Well, as a child, I was raised by my grandmother, who was a scout leader, always very active in the community, very much a person who would be an advocate for anybody. And when I had received my heart transplant and I felt comfortable to do so and felt comfortable coming out and joining as a Donate Life ambassador, I immediately signed up. I remember I was watching TV at home one day and I saw something about the Be More Healthy Expo. And I said, oh, who are these people? let me look into that. And I said, this sounds like something right up my alley. I have free time. I would love to volunteer. I would love to tell people about the miracle of organ, eye, and tissue donation. I've always been a donor. I've always said, if there's anything that is of value to someone else, I would love to pass it along. But having this personal tie and personal connection, it was wonderful. And so when I go to events or I see people, even on the street, if I am talking to anybody for more than maybe 10, 15 minutes, the subject of my transplants will probably come up. So I feel like it is a living testament to, hey, we're out here, we're receiving organs, and we're thriving. It's really funny because I would do events and I'd be talking to someone and they're like, well, who's getting my organs? And I said, someone like me. And I've been talking with them and, up and jumping around or like doing any number of things. And, oh, you've received an organ? And it kind of, you see a light bulb go off in their head and their whole demeanor changes. And they're like, wow, you look great. And I'm like, thank you. That's the point.
Thanks to somebody's generosity.
Thanks to someone's generosity. Well, two people's generosity.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here and able to come out and teach a little something about organ, eye, and tissue donation.
So what would you say to someone who doesn't really believe in organ donation?
When you pass, your organs either go into the ground or if you're cremated or however your body is prepared after death. Those are vital lifelines that can be given to people to heal an individual, but also families. It is not about healing one person. It's about healing people, a family, community. It does not shorten your life, but it's extending someone else's. You have to look at it that way. Once I've lived a long, healthy life, I would love it if someone was able to use my pancreas or my intestines or tissue or muscle. I am an organ donor and there are medical miracles happening every day. So I will continue to be an organ donor because I want to give someone else the opportunity to have a better or improved life by a gift that I have to share.
Absolutely. So, final thing, what are you most grateful for?
Time. When I was before I was diagnosed with heart failure and put on the heart transplant list, I was very impatient. I said to myself, I don't know how I'm going to wait a whole year for this heart. And I wound up waiting 18 months. In that time, I learned patience and it was very important. And now looking at it on the other side, it was just a year and a half. When I found out I needed a kidney transplant, it was 5 years before I received my kidney. So looking back, those hard, rough times, they molded me and shaped my personality moving forward. So now I'm happy that I have time. If I want to get up and go run a 5K tomorrow, I can do it. It's not going to be great, but I can get it done.
Yeah.
These are things that I would not have been able to do previously. And had I not received my heart or my kidney transplant, I probably wouldn't even be here to even discuss them. I had more time with my family. I was able to find a partner who's fantastic, 10 out of 10. So, I really kind of cherish moments. I cherish being able to spend another Christmas with people and getting to enjoy the lights. And you slow down and you look at the little things. And those are the things that really do bring me joy. It's quality time. And that's what I received is really more time.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Sierra, for coming and talking to me about your experience as a transplant recipient. Thank you for watching the Hope Cast, and we will see you next time. Peace out.